Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's coverage of high school football on North Penn Television. You are tuned into Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or NPTV YouTube Live. I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Prashant Jobapucha, set to bring you all the action for tonight's Suburban 1 6A Continental Conference matchup between the visiting Souderton Indians and the home North Penn Knights. It is a great weather, great atmosphere, and the backdrop is sunny over with a beautiful horizon, our Lansdale area, and Crawford Stadium, the setting of our conference square off tonight, and the home of North Penn football. With the beautiful sky, the atmosphere up on their feet, and two extremely talented squads on the field of play tonight, it's the battle of the Big Red and the Boys in Blue here in Week 7, with the Indians entering tonight's matchup at 6-0, while the Knights look to stand their ground against their crosstown rivals undefeated, entering tonight as the Knights with a record of 5-1 to their 2019 campaign.
Yeah, and you know, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. Our parents, if they grew up in the North Penn district, their rivalry was against LC. We get to grow up and have the rivalry against Souderton, and it is a big rivalry to say the least. Only 15 minutes away. You know the student section is going to be traveling no matter what. Either if you're going to Souderton, if you're going to North Penn. They came out today, Souderton student section. Our student section, North Penn, came out today too, so it's going to be an interesting matchup.
An exciting game, and kickoff is underway in the Friday Night Lights. And breaking free is Kevon White going downfield, the senior, the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20, the 10, and the North Penn Knights will kick off this game tonight. And it's senior Kevon White leading the way for North Penn. 7 points on the board here in the opening kickoff to tonight's kickoff. And my goodness, Crawford Stadium, do you love it? North Penn up, thanks to the senior Kevon White with the kickoff return. To kick off our matchup tonight.
What a starter to this football game. Kevon White breaks loose, and we talk about momentum shift. How about that? You get an easy 6 points on the board off a kickoff return, and this student section is ready to go.
Received just at about the 10-yard line, Kevon White would take it to the house and put the Knights up with an early 6. Now up for the extra point attempt, Daniel Moon, the junior. It's set by the senior Nate Brown. Moon's extra point is up through the uprights, and North Penn with the exclamation mark to start off this game. 7-0 here on the opening kickoff, and here's the man. The replay on your screen now. Kevon White will receive the tackles, shooting up the gut. Souderton unable to catch up to the senior as he would trot from the 40. It was all green grass and the house, the end zone in sight. And my goodness, an electric crowd to the start of this game. And just when you thought North Penn couldn't get louder on this home side of the field, it just gets better.
Yeah, and there's always those key blocks on those kickoff returns, and it looked like the junior Andrew Berry, number 43, provided that key block on that return, right up the middle.
The Knights repping their navy blue uniforms with the Columbia blue trim and Columbia blue helmets on the left side of your screen tonight. On the right side, the visiting Souderton Indians in their white jerseys with the red pants and red trim. And my goodness, Souderton coming in 6-0. A wake-up call must be to the start of this game. Both student sections have been jumping, but right now the momentum, obviously, all on North Penn's side of the field. Kevon White bringing the action right here to the start of our Friday Night Light matchup at Crawford Stadium. Once again, you are watching North Penn Television for the high school football coverage tonight. I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Prashant Jobapucha. And to kick it off here, Daniel Moon will send this boot downfield. And the Indians will get set for their first touch of the night. Number 17 with the touch, Kyle Bobb. He'll find some room across your far side of your screen. But North Penn will sniff it out. Won't replicate or allow the Indians to replicate their kickoff return, as they will tackle him, setting him out at about the 30-yard line to kick off this matchup tonight, where the Indians will start it off for their first drive of the ball game.
Yeah, and they're going to call it a 98-yard kickoff return from Kevon White.
So as both teams get set for the first official snap of this game, it will be the Indians offense looking to set the tone here after the early end zone visit by the Knights. Andrew Vince, the quarterback, the senior number 10 tonight, under center. He'll be immediately met in the backfield, and then we'll get this pass off to number 7, Jalen White. However, the Knights will swarm him up. Ethan Spann with the tackle in the backfield, wearing number 20 tonight. He will take him in the backfield. Kevon White with the tackle as a loss of 1 on the play. The Knights defense will set the tone here as well early on, applying the pressure. Kevon White doing both on both sides of the ball. He's able to get an early start here for the Knights defense ahead.
Yeah, there's always that one player who kind of emerges, I think, in homecoming games. Last year didn't really emerge, but Julian White with the big game. We'll see if Kevon White can continue.
Here's Vince over center. His pass intended for number 2, Sean McGorbick. However, this will be swatted out of the air as knocked away by number 34 for the Knights, John Dolan. As the pass intended just a bit high, Dolan able to show off the vertical, swat that ball in the air, and send it incomplete for 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 13 here for the Indians, as their offense led by quarterback Andrew Vince. He'll be in the shotgun and most likely, as we can assume here, looking downfield a bit. He will step back, looking to his right. He'll send the line drive and will connect with the wide receiver on the far side of the screen, but he'll be wrapped up by Nate Brown on your far side of the screen, just short of the 1st down. As a great tackle there by the senior Nate Brown on number 6, Nick Guthrie, on your far side of your screen. As it will be a gain of 12, and the offense of the Indians will stay on the field. 4th and 1. And my goodness, here we go.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision. You already gave up the big momentum play. Let's get some of that momentum back.
Vince under center. The North Penn linebackers will edge up. It will be a quarterback sneak, and he looks like he will find his way across for the 1st down. And he will hold on to the ball. Looking to be a scrum there at the bottom of that pile. But Andrew Vince will do the job as the senior. The QB sneak will find their way through. And the Souderton Indians will convert on the 4th and 1.
And you see Evan Spann trying onto the field. And he is back into the lineup after missing a few weeks due to an injury. And he is back, and that is big for them. A senior captain for the Knights. And we know he's going to be playing a lot of offense. We'll see how much defense he plays tonight.
A handoff to number 44 on from the left-hand handoff. DeAndre Wakefield will receive it from Vince. As he will be wrapped up for a short gain for the Indians, as they are inching closer to the 50-yard marker, rather, as it will be 2nd and 9 for the Indians, standing at the 47 on their own end of the turf. Under center once again, 2 wide receivers to your far side of the screen. Vince will step back and he'll get a quick handoff. And he'll find number 6, Nick Guthrie, the senior, and the very well biggest name we've been hearing all week in doing some of the research leading up to tonight's game, taking some notes. It's been the Nick Guthrie show so far for this season of the Indians. 6-0, the undefeated Big Red. And he's been the main weapon the Redskins, or the Indians, have used for these games in the early parts of this 2019 season. Under center once again, Vince. He'll step back and will fake the handoff. He'll find some room, breathing room on your far side of the screen, rolling to his right. As he will get across the 1st down, will set a fresh set of downs, moving the markers downfield. The Indians into North Penn territory, as it will be 1st and 10 from the 38. And Prasham, early on, we haven't quite seen too many pass plays. The rushing has been quite of the asset for the Indians so far tonight, and they're using it here. What's been working well, and why they're able to trudge downfield, picking up some pretty big 1st downs. And once again, right on cue, however, it will be number 44. He will break free. DeAndre Wakefield, right on cue. Before Prasham got a chance to answer, Wakefield will find his way to the end zone, and the Indians will make an end zone visit of their own on their first drive of the contest tonight. Wakefield going right up the gut. He'll find some room through the line of scrimmage. And the Souderton Indians student section on your top right of the screen. has a chance to jump of their own, build up some momentum for their Indians on the field tonight. As a stoppage of play from the officials tonight, a sideline boarding charge against the Indians will quite slow up the party here on their first end zone visit of the game. As the score now 7-6. And getting ready to kick it away, number 16 for the extra point, William Leyland of Souderton. Looking to tie this game up at 7. The snap is set. He will get it off and boot this. The line drive straight through the uprights. And the Indians will fire back to the early end zone visit of the Knights, thanks to Kevon White's kickoff return, the opening kickoff to tonight's matchup at Crawford Stadium. Wakefield will send an answer, the solution for the Indians tonight. He will break free, trotting across the 15 to 10 to 5. No man in the backfield to answer for the Knights. And Souderton will tie it up at 7.
Yeah, and if you think the rivalry is just on the field, you're wrong. It's going to be a rivalry between these student sections tonight. As we said, black out on their side, white out on our side. And when you look at it, right now, I think Souderton's got momentum right now because they had the kickoff return. It's a big play, but it gives you more confidence when you can drive down the field and put in a touchdown. You're not going to get another kickoff return, most likely. So I think Knights really got to respond right here.
William Leyland will get set to boot this ball away with the right foot and send this downfield to the receiving core of the Knights on your far left side of the screen. And once again, Kevon White, he's set and is toe-to-toe with his fellow senior, Kenneth Garandi, who's pulled a kickoff return of his own. Right now, it will be Kevon White once again. He'll receive it at the 10. He'll find his way up the middle. However, the Indians will be able to swarm him up this time, reading him like a book up the middle. The block's unable to provide enough room. Kevon White will be wrapped up, and the Knights offense will get sent onto the field to kick off their first drive of the ballgame.
Yeah, the Knights offense is going to be led by that freshman quarterback, Ryan Zelt. Great game last week for him. A lot of beautiful passes. Kalani Ian, the running back, a lot of big plays for him too.
The freshman Ryan Zelt will be set up under center. The I formation for the Knights backfield. Kalani Ian. He'll find some room to his right as he'll get a hole, but not enough provided there from the seniors of Nate Brown, Corey Kime, and RJ McNamara. As a short game for Ian will wrap him up and put him at the 30-yard line.
And the rest of the offense, RJ McNamara, the senior, he'll be a part of the homecoming festivities at halftime. Justin DePietro, Kenneth Grandy, Corey Kime, and the offensive line led by Trey Evangelisto at center, Cameron McQueen, John Durkitz, Nolan Bresby, Darren Miller, and of course, Evan Spann returning to the wide receiver position tonight.
The high snap received by Zelt. He'll hand it off to fellow underclassman, the sophomore Kalani Ian, and he'll push across the first down. Will move the chains downfield, and the Knights edging closer to the NP logo at midfield as they'll be set up at the 44-yard line on their own end of the field.
And talking obviously before the game, as we see another replay of Kalani's run right there, putting his head down. But no, we said last week, Ryan played great, but it was against a bad defense, a defense that hadn't won a game.
And right on cue, once again, Ian will take another handoff from Zelt in the backfield as he's able to get a stiff arm, bounce off the initial tackle attempt, and pick up a few extra yards there. Kalani Ian, he likes to lower the shoulder and plow through the line of scrimmage as he's able to put it on and showcase it there once again. The Knights, 2nd and 4, standing at midfield. Zelt will immediately hand it off with the right hand and pushing across the senior, RJ McNamara, as you mentioned, on the homecoming court for senior night or for the halftime festivities. He'll take this carry of his own and get on the action tonight as he'll push across for a first down and move the chains into Souderton territory.
But as I was saying about Ryan Zelt, this is going to be the real test. You played a team that hadn't won a game last week. You're playing a team that hasn't lost the game this week. So we're going to see, this is his real test if he can beat some of these better defenses.
Zelt to Ian. And Ian looking to get slipped up as the tackles there provided by number 5, Willie Goods, and number 18, Evan Kutzler of the Indians.
Yeah, and not on that one, but that last run by Kalani Ian makes him a 1,000-yard rusher on the season. And we're just getting started, I guess you could
My
say.
goodness.
Where you have a few more regular season games and some playoff games, most likely. So we'll see if he can get past that 1,500 mark.
It's week 7, and he is just going to be continuing to be the menace against any defense the Knights continue to play throughout the rest of this season. This time it will be handed off to Kenneth Grandy. The senior will stay on his feet and then be swarmed up, gobbled up, and sent into the dirt and grass of Crawford Stadium. As the backfield, the secondary will meet the backfield run of Kenneth Grandy, and a first down for the Knights, thanks to the senior, repping number 4 tonight of Kenneth Grandy.
First and 10 for the Knights. Souderton 24.
So first and 10 set up at the 24-yard line. The Knights are inching their way closer and knocking on the door of their second end zone visit tonight. The first offensive drive of the game, and it's the freshman Ryan Zelt, the quarterback. He'll hand it off into the backfield. However, the Indians will eat this one up and read it as the tackle there provided by number 60 of the Indians. CJ Tourma will wrap up RJ McNamara, senior on senior, with a loss of 1.
For the Knights from the 25.
Second and 11 at the 25-yard line. Our score 7-7 here with just over 4 minutes left in our first quarter of action. The handoff to Grandy. He'll be met in the backfield, wrapped up from behind, as it's the Indians showing off some of their defense that they've been able to lock down many opponents throughout the season, why they stand at 6-0 undefeated. Once again, CJ Tourma with the wrap-up as the tackle in the backfield will set them up 3rd and 9 for the Knights.
Third down and 9 for the Knights.
Zelt in the shotgun. Multiple wide receivers to either side of him. 2 to your close side, 3 wide receivers to your far side of your screen. DePietro and McNamara in the slot. Zelt will look to his left. He'll roll out, the pressure coming behind him. He'll hear the footsteps, but get the pass off. This will be through the hands of Kenneth Grandy on your far side of the screen. No man quite around him, the pressure wasn't there, but the pass just a bit high there from the right hand of Zelt, out of the reach of Grandy. And you see on your screen now, North Penn administration looking to bring the hype of North Penn once again to their feet. Last week they were featured with their own tailgate section. Tonight they're coming out to support the homecoming festivities tonight. A bit chilly down there compared to last week, but great to see them back out supporting the North Penn football squad and the North Penn football family tonight against crosstown rivals of Souderton. 4th and 9, the offense will stay on the field. It's Zelt. He'll find a man, connecting, and the catch received by Evans Fan. The senior will plow his way to the end zone. And right at the goal line, the officials' arms are up, and it's a touchdown for North Penn. The senior back in the lineup after missing 4 weeks due to injury. The ankle injury shaken off there for the senior. Evans Fan with the first connection from the right hand of Ryan Zelt. The line drive pass will meet him in the chest. And Evans Fan, my goodness, what a game. Catching up with him pregame, he couldn't wait to get back to lead this squad, the leadership mentality he brings to this team. And he'll find his way to the end zone to put the Knights ahead here on their first official offensive drive of the ball game tonight.
Yeah, and Evan Span, you know, he could have gone down quite a few times right there, but he plowed his way through and crossed that goal line. And Ryan Zelt with a pretty pass right over the middle. Evan Span doing what you all know he can do and hopefully will do for the rest of the season.
Of the Indians, number 5, Willie Goods, was shaken up on that conversion. The 4th and 9 conversion from Zelt to Evan Span for Span to get to the end zone and be able to make an end zone visit and appearance tonight as he will trot off to the field to the Souderton sidelines. This extra point is up. Look to be an Indian getting a hand on it as number 52 will apply the pressure. Angus Evanick, not quite enough of a connection as Moose kick, and the extra point is good.
Yeah, you see Evan Span on that slant route and then goes right up the field off of it, breaks a few tackles as he crosses the goal line.
And Prashad, the biggest note of that conversion and touchdown appearance, it was 4th and 9. Coach Dick Beck in his 18th season will keep the offense on the field. And at 4th and 9 with the freshman quarterback, who we've seen plenty of great action from, but he also is the freshman. The experience isn't quite there. 4th and 9 against a crosstown rivals, a packed stadium tonight, the biggest game of this season against an undefeated squad. And the freshman quarterback of Ryan Zell will connect with Span on 4th and 9.
Yeah, and you know, talking to Coach Beck at the end of last game, he says he doesn't even consider Ryan a freshman anymore. He trusts him so much to get the job done, he doesn't even look at him as a freshman.
And also, what can you say about the trust Coach Beck had in that team and that conversion right there? The offense staying on the field, I mean, excellent field position, but you also are trading away a field goal.
Yeah, and that's kind of talking about, like I already said, the trust with Zelt, but also the trust with Evan Span, your captain, knowing he's going to get the job done.
Great to see Span back on the field. As I mentioned, 4 weeks he's missed, and he could not wait to get back onto the field with his boys in blue. And tonight, he will make an impact here very early on in our first quarter of action. So great to see from the senior as the Indians will get going with their second offensive drive. Kyle Bob with the kickoff return. And it will be Andrew Vince, the quarterback senior, under center. He'll hand it off. The Indians offense in a groove here and in the backfield. It will be number 7 taking the handoff. The junior, Jalen White, will be wrapped up, but with an excellent gain of yard. 7 yards picked up, and the Indians set up at 2nd and 3.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of run plays. Obviously, their best player is a running back. So we'll see if they try to pass the ball, and I think that's going to be the key for the Knights. Can they force the Indians to pass the ball?
Vince under center once again. 2 men in the backfield in his back pocket. They'll now motion to your far side of the screen. A handoff once again here. The Indians very comfortable with their backfield, trying to get the job done. Much of the load we've seen the offense taking has been handoffs in the backfield and the rushing game on the ground, but with no gain on the play after the handoff and take from the backfield member Nick Guthrie, the fullback. Won't be much there as it will now be 3rd down and 3. So Prasham, only 3 yards to the first down, but that might feel like an eternity to get there here against a very strong defense and defensive line. Are you going in the air on this real quick, or are you putting it on the ground?
No, I think the pressure's on the defensive line to stop the run, knowing that they have such a strong run game.
Vince under center. He'll get the handoff, and he'll find space. And with the carry, number 44, once again, Wakefield will break free across the sideline, pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line in North Penn territory. And a quick motion to the left, then the handoff to the right. And it's Wakefield taking the snap from Vince. And there it is. Souderton connecting with the ground game once again. A first down will move the chains. Sticking his right foot in the ground and getting a propel and a boost of speed. Grandy, the only man in the back in the secondary to meet Wakefield. And it's the Indians in quite a groove, looking to make their second end zone appearance tonight and tie this game up. Hopefully reaching a score of 14-14 here with 1:32 left in our first quarter of action. Just our first quarter of action tonight. A very similar formation as Vince will hand it off to Wakefield. Assumingly so, and Wakefield this time will be wrapped up for a short gain of about 4 or 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd down for the Indians. 2nd and 6. The clock continuing to tick here to just over a minute left in our first quarter of play tonight at Crawford Stadium. As with the gain of 3. The Knights with a 7-point lead and looking to lock it down here as the Indians knocking on the door at the 26-yard line of North Penn. Motion, and it will be with the carry. Number 6, Nick Guthrie, he'll find some space, lowering the shoulder, wrapped up along the sideline. Sean Brennan will complete the tackle on number 5, Willie Goods. A bit of a stare down there quite at the end, as that definitely exemplifies the flair and the rivalry this game has on every single snap of this game.
Yeah, you can see RJ McNamara just barely miss him on the tackle, but then Sean Brennan he's had some hard hits this season. You go back to the first game, he put a hit on one of the wide receivers on a slant route, and he got taken out of the game. So, yeah, Sean Brennan is a hard hitter on
Against
that
the
nice
Chamonix.
secondary.
Later parts of the game, the Knights were ahead by a score or two, and Brennan with a huge knock away to not only lay out and take out the wide receiver, but also the ball on the play. Here's Vince running to his far side of his screen to his right, but this time the senior R.J. McNamara will meet his man in the backfield, hunting down the Indian, and he will wrap up Vince just enough to force him to throw this ball into the dirt. As it's R.J. McNamara bringing the pressure. You talk about that pass rush pressure. Prasham, how important is that tonight, especially against Andrew Vince, a senior quarterback with plenty of experience alongside strong offensive core?
Well, like you said, he's got the experience. He's not going to keep the ball for that long. He's going to get rid of it if he feels that pressure. So that it's on the defensive line to really get there fast and not maybe disguise that pressure, but get there fast.
Standing within the 20-yard line, the Indians offense will look to number 6, Nick Guthrie once again. The backfield member will take the carry, but a very short gain will be provided for the Indians offense. So third down here with 23 seconds and ticking on our first quarter of play tonight. The student section is jumping as they know how big this play is right now. 3rd and 11. As you got to assume here, a stop and force of a 4th down will at least have the Knights defense walking away with only giving up a field goal at the least, or at the most rather.
Yeah, you have a wide receiver up top by himself.
And look to be a fake handoff. Look to be looking for your far side of the screen for that lone wide receiver. However, a stoppage of play will wrap up that play, sending both teams to their respective sidelines and conclude our first quarter action here tonight at Crawford Stadium. The Knights ahead with a 14-7 lead. They will score on both of their offensive drives tonight. A touchdown led by Ryan Zell connecting with Evan Spann, the latest end zone appearance of either squad. But Prasham, what can we talk about the exclamation mark on this game? We weren't even through our intro before Kavan White would tiptoe his way to the end zone. What kind of impact does this have on not only this game, but the atmosphere you see in a student section like that?
There's the effect right there. That student section is pumped when they got that return, and they're still pumped. But also, you got to look at the other side. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying it throughout the entire game. When Souderton got their touchdown, they were pumped on the other side in all black. And it's going to be back and forth as we go. And it's just about momentum. Almost every sport nowadays is about momentum. Who can carry momentum? And I think that's going to be the real key tonight.
Obviously, the start to any game is most important, especially when you're able to put your team up with an early edge. But it is all about how a team finishes. And as for North Penn, they're looking to do that tonight on their home turf. Lock it down against the rival Souderton Indians, enemies, facing off at Crawford Stadium tonight. Here's Vince kicking off our second quarter play with a line drive connection to the shoulder of number 18, wide receiver Evan Kutzler. As the junior will bring this one in, standing at 6'2", the vertical will be showcased for the Indians wide receiver.
Yeah, and I believe that was the receiver who was lined up by himself on the last play. So obviously, he's going to be a go-to for their quarterback.
So a great connection there would put the Indians in great field position. However, they're going to have to earn a little more here with 4th down, 2 yards for the first. They stand at the 10. And a quick QB sneak. This time he'll get a quick jolt up to his left. And a stutter step move from the senior. Andrew Vince will pick up approximately 2 yards. Just enough for the first down. And the Indians offense with a fresh set of downs here, looking to knock their way into the end zone for their second time tonight.
And goal for the Indians from the 6.
So 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. The Knights need to lock down their end zone. Linebackers tiptoeing around, creeping up on the offensive line of the Indians. This handoff will be to your far side, close side of the screen rather, as Nick Guthrie will take the carry. But the senior will be locked down once again by the Knights defense. You definitely see head coach Dick Beck of the Knights doing some homework and locking down Guthrie tonight.
Souderton from the 7.
With a loss of 1 on that carry from Nick Guthrie, it will be 2nd and 7 in the red zone. Vince in the shotgun. One lone wide receiver to far side of your screen. Motion to the left. It will be handed off to number 7, Jalen White. He'll look to find his way in the pylon, and will do so as he will get the right foot in there. Kenneth Grandy, the secondary, unable to meet him in time. And the Indians will find their way to the end zone for the 2nd time tonight. The Big Red will look to tie this game up as the carry from Willie Goods will put up the end zone visit. Rather, number 7, Jalen White with the carry. And the Big Red back on the board as they'll look to tie it up here from the right leg of William Leyland.
For the point after.
It's snapped by Vince, held by Andrew Vince, and the kick is up through the uprights. The extra point from Leyland is good, and a second look at the carry from Jalen White, the junior of Souderton, and he'll find his way into the end zone to tie this game up.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of outrunning everybody, getting ahead of your blocks, and getting there before the defense can.
And it looked to be, after that carry, a tip of the cap, quite like the tip of the ball there to the student section of Souderton following that carry from White as he trickled his way into the end zone. A tip of the cap to the home crowd coming out tonight, representing Souderton with the blackout attire in the student section, as they were facing off looking to bring the aspect of a rivalry game tonight here at Crawford Stadium, where North Penn, with a whiteout of their own here in the student section tonight, they are packed up and ready to go here for the kickoff, where Souderton will send it away left to right to the Knights downfield, as it will be Kavan White and fellow senior Kenneth Grandy set at the goal line of the far right side of your screen in the end zone to set up a kick return here tonight. The score tied at 14 with 10 minutes left in our 2nd quarter of play. Leyland's line drive, a ground ball scooped up. And here come the Knights coming downfield and will lower the shoulder and be met helmet to helmet contact there, as number 8 will scoop up the ball at the chest. Danny Harkins will be wrapped up. And before the Knights offense will get set to go again, as you see on your screen now, homecoming festivities tonight are getting ready to get underway. The King and Queen will be crowned at halftime, as 7 males and 7 females looking to earn their way up on the big stage tonight at halftime. The bigger stage right now, however, is led by Ryan Zelt and the Knights offense. Zelt will step back to fake handoff. He'll look downfield, and then he'll step up in the pocket, finding room across the line of scrimmage before falling onto his shoulders and wrapped up, as the touch of Jimmy Daly will officially rule him down. The linebacker unable to sniff it out quite enough to beat out the freshman, as Ryan Zelt will pick up a gain of 6 for 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, and going back to homecoming, it's not on homecoming court, but Kevin Schuyler is escorting someone, and he is a big fan of NPTV. He tunes in into quite a few football games and broadcasts, so big shout out to him.
Shout out to Kevin Schuyler, but right now it's fellow senior on the field tonight before the halftime festivities of Kevin Schuyler being down there. It's Kenneth Grandy, a good friend of both, and Grandy will find his way tiptoeing and staying within the sidelines with a gain of 28. It's a 1st down for the Knights.
Yeah, look at that key block right there. That's going to be Evan Span, as he allowed Ken Green to get to that outside and get a few more yards.
Nick Force with the tackle, sending Grandy out of bounds at the end of that drive for North Penn. Zelt under center, and the Knights offense looking to stay on the gas pedal. Grandy, he'll be the carrier, and this time he'll be wrapped up, spun around, and immediately then met at the line of scrimmage, as Grandy unable to find enough of a hole through the line of scrimmage, as number 3 with the wrap up, Jacob Horton, the junior, will meet the senior of North Penn. with the clock continuing to wind down here with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left in our first half of action. Once again, you're watching North Penn Television from the booth. I'm Eric Jesberger alongside Prasham Juba calling all the action tonight here at Crawford Stadium, as the North Penn offense looking to find their way into the red zone once again tonight. They've been successful on all of their drives so far tonight. The score's still tied, however, at 14-14. What does North Penn need to do and replicate to find their way into the end zone once again tonight?
Well, you know, last time they tried to run it, but they got to that 4th down, and it was the pass play that converted it. We'll see if they want to go back to that.
The backfield will be set up, and there's R.J. McNamara with a burst of speed, and he'll tiptoe his way, jogging into the end zone. R.J. McNamara, the blocks in the line of scrimmage provided by the offensive line. The big man on the homecoming court tonight. It's R.J. McNamara bringing this home crowd to their feet once again. The senior receiving the handoff from the freshman Ryan Zelt. R.J. McNamara with his first end zone appearance of the night. North Penn touchdown.
Yeah, and I kind of touched on it earlier. Julian White had a big game on his homecoming night last year. I'm really looking to see if RJ can replicate that a little bit with a big game of his own.
And this time, Daniel Moon's extra point, he's 2 for 2 tonight. However, this line drive will be just a bit short and swatted away by the Souderton Indians. Brick wall of hands getting up over the line of scrimmage to swat that away. However, the Knights will hoist with the lead here with just under 8 minutes left before our halftime festivities. The Knights with 20, the Indians a score of 14. They trail by 6 as the offense will get set to head back onto the field. The kick return will be set, and the offense led by Andrew Vince will get set to go once again. And as we look over the rest of the Souderton offense tonight, in the backfield, the members of number 7, Jalen White, number 44, DeAndre Wakefield, and number 6, Nick Guthrie have made the biggest impact tonight and taken much of the load for the offense throughout the game, as they are also helped out by the linemen of number 64, Donovan Myers, number 51, Jimmy Daly, number 55, Dan Villaba, and number 56, Kyle Elslisser, and number 60, CJ Tormer. So that offensive line has helped out much of the backfield tonight, especially Wakefield, who's made an end zone appearance of his own, in addition to number 7, Jalen White. The recent scoring for the Souderton Indians, they've been successful on all their offensive performances tonight. But Prashant, for the defense of North Penn, what do they need to do to lock down the Indians' thriving offense right now, and missing out on that extra point need to do to hold on to the lead before heading to the locker rooms at halftime?
And like you said, that PAT is going to come back to bite North Penn later on when you have a tie game like it was. So we'll see if that comes back to bite. But the Knights defense has got to get a stop at some point. If it's not on this drive, keep up, but you have to get a stop because you do not want it to get to where you're losing the game because of PAT.
Wakefield with the carry with a gain of 7. Spencer Heilball, the senior of North Penn, with the wrap up and tackle, as it'll be 2nd and 3, standing at their own 47 on the left side of the screen. And the home crowd looking to bring some energy as well, just like on your screen now, to help out this Knights offense, or defense rather, lock down the Indians' boosting offense. As right there, a first down. As Wakefield with another carry, he'll move the chains into North Penn territory now with a first down of his own.
Gain of 7 on the play. 1st and 10 for Souderton.
And you see the pink wristbands there. As it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a lot of players do wear the pink to spread the awareness.
The pink attire and the pink apparel shown prominently by Souderton tonight. Even Prasham up in here in the booth with the pink gear tonight, supporting the cause against breast cancer and the awareness spread throughout the game tonight.
Yeah, you know, I had to change shoelaces yesterday when I got home, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it looks.
Looking good for now. You're just lucky we got good field conditions tonight under the beautiful lights of Crawford Stadium here in the Lansdale area. But right now, Souderton looking to disrupt the party. Andrew Vince will connect with Wakefield over the middle. And my goodness, what a catch from number 44, Wakefield, over the middle. The senior will haul this one in. A bit of a high throw, but it's just enough for Wakefield to get two hands on it and reel this one in.
Yeah, and that just shows the amount of trust that he has in Wakefield to get up and go get that. He knows it's going to be a tough play all the way.
The connection thrown over the coverage of the linebacker, Mike Marasco of North Penn. This pass, however, will be met and swatted away by North Penn, as number 34 will break it up on your far side of the screen. John Dolman with his second forced incomplete pass tonight, as his pressure and coverage has been quite excellent from the two plays we've seen Souderton try and send his way. Vince to your far side of the screen. He'll connect. Kenneth Grandy unable to wrap him up. And it's number 7, Jalen White, finding his way into the end zone. Once again, almost deja vu against the Knights, as Jalen White with his second end zone appearance on the night. Back-to-back end zone appearances for White and the Souderton offense, as Kenneth Grandy unable to meet the senior once again in the end zone. And it's now getting pretty heated up in here. Student section versus student section right now from the stands and that standpoint. However, on the field now, looking to propel for the first lead tonight. It's the kick and the right boot of William Leyland with the extra point, and the Indians will pick up their first lead on the night here in our first half of action, thanks to Jalen White finding his way into the end zone, beating the secondary with a boost of speed, and it's the Indians up 21-20 here with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in our first half of action. So now for the defense, as you see Souderton lining up along the sidelines before getting ready to send this kick away. Prasham, the defense needs to be the biggest aspect tonight. We've already talked about North Penn, the defense unable to step up there, as we talked about earlier in that drive. They're going to need to do to hold on to the lead. Now they don't have it. What does Souderton need to do to walk into halftime and the locker rooms with the lead in this game?
Well, let's just go back to that defense. We talked to Coach Beck before the game, and he said he needs to limit those big plays. And so far, a 38-yard touchdown to begin the game for Souderton on the offensive side. Then you had the 10-yard or 7-yard touchdown, and then you had a 25-yard touchdown. So obviously 2 of those bigger than you should be allowing, and that's pretty big right there.
And my goodness, a chip shot will be sent, and a swarm for the ball will ensue. Souderton might be saying they have it, but my goodness, thank God for North Penn's sake, as number 12, the senior Justin DePietro, will come out with that ball under the dog pile. My goodness, a chip shot seemed to catch North Penn off guard, and once that ball was popping up off of the grass and dirt here at Crawford Stadium, just about where the ball is set now at the 35-yard line, it was just a scrum for this ball at the bottom of the pile. 2 North Penn Knights would collide, and the Indians would ensue and try and get on it.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious what the Indians are trying to do right now. Trying to, after that touchdown return, obviously by Kevon White, they want to kick it short and not allow them that chance to return.
Number 15, R.J. McNamara with the carry for North Penn.
R.J. McNamara with the carry, and a bit of a scrum there at the end of fellow senior Nate Brown with number 9, Nick Force, once again highlighting and showcasing the flares and the rivalry we're going to see tonight. A bit of trash talking down there as well. We got to, assume throughout this game. But the offenses have made their way across the field tonight, going end zone to end zone, trading offensive showcases of their own and end zone visits between both squads tonight. It's Zelt with the handoff to Grandy. This time the senior unable to find enough space. The offensive line unable to knock down the defensive line and the linebackers of the Indians, ensuing to wrap up Grandy and forcing a 3rd and 8 for North Penn.
Yeah, Kalani Ian has been sitting on the bench since that first possession of the game for the Knights. Hasn't been out there, so I wonder if he's injured or what's going on, but obviously Ken Grandy's that backup for them.
the weapon we're hoping to see get back on the field, definitely Kalani Eames, who's already made an impact in the early parts of tonight's game. And it looks like right now Coach Beck of the Knights will call a timeout. In his 18th season, he'll call the timeout here. Both coaches very experienced and have, you got to assume, might be friends, but also when they're on the field, they're going to be the foes with this rivalry heating up, as head coach of the Souderton Indians, Ed Gallagher, in his 17th season, going toe-to-toe from sideline to sideline with head coach of the Knights, head coach Dick Beck, in his 18th season. You got to talk about both coaches having 15-plus years of experience in the league, facing off in this 28-year rivalry, especially here since the gates of Crawford Stadium opened in 1991. What can you talk about both coaches? Probably knowing enough of each other to call some plays and assume what both teams are bringing to every time both teams meet on the football field.
Where it makes you get creative as a coach to put in some plays that other head coach, hasn't seen yet. But you also know, and they might not admit it, they probably won't, those coaches are telling their players in the week before this game that they want to beat them bad. And they're trash talking for the other team, most likely, saying, those guys can come in and try to win this game on our field and stuff like that, just to hype up their team.
Zelt will step back. He'll have time. He'll send this line drive, connecting with McNamara over the 50, across the 35 to 30, a stiff arm from McNamara. He'll find some space. The stutter step within the 5. Touchdown, R.J. McNamara. The senior will find his way to the end zone for the second time tonight. And North Penn, with a jolt of momentum in this ball game tonight, North Penn will take back the lead. The student section holstered to their feet once again, thanks to the big man, number 15, R.J. McNamara.
Yeah, and we'll see the replay soon. But Evan Spann with a key block on that play to really free up RJ. RJ had the stiff arm, but there was a key block from Evan Spann. We'll probably see it soon.
And we'll get set here as the 2-point conversion attempt. The Knights offense staying on. Ryan Zelt under center. The freshman will botch the snap, and he'll be wrapped up in the backfield immediately. The 2-point conversion unsuccessful, as that will be a shot in the foot there from the Knights, as they will walk away with a 5-point lead, 26-21, but here it is once again.
Yep, and here's the pass over the middle to RJ, and he's going to try to work to the outside. You're going to see the initial stiff arm, a great stiff arm right there, but then watch Evan Spann, right shoulder into the defender, and RJ McNamara with the juke right there to get free.
Breaking away that initial tackle attempt, number 9, Nick Force, unable to bring down the senior. And then number 18, Evan Kutzler, broken ankles out there at the 10-yard line. As, my goodness, R.J. McNamara able to find his way around the defenders, work his way past the secondary with a jolt of speed, going from sidelines across the middle, as within the 10-yard line, it would just be the big man by himself, and McNamara would bring the Knights ahead with a lead. Now 26-21. with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in our first half of action tonight.
And on all these big plays, you're noticing the, I guess, denominator is that key block. And a lot has happened with the blocks so far. We saw it on the kickoff return. We saw it right there. And Souderton, little miscommunication right there on the kickoff return.
You talk about blocks needing to be in point. Unfortunately, this block will be against their own man, as Souderton will now be wrapped up at the 20-yard line. As you see the energy being brought up by some of the seniors in the student section for North Penn, bringing the energy against their rivals across the field, student section to student section. And going toe-to-toe once again, it will be Andrew Vince leading the Indians offense against North Penn's defense. The Knights with a 5-point lead, 26-21. Vince will step back and he'll get a handoff to the backfield member. However, a scrum at the line of scrimmage will send Souderton with a very short gain back to the huddle. As Nick Guthrie unsuccessful once again.
And Nick Guthrie has been kept quiet throughout this game. We heard a lot of noise coming in about him. Not too much to speak of so far.
He was Souderton's Athlete of the Week in this past week in the big win, and obviously leading the Souderton offense and ultimately the whole team to an overall record of 6-0 entering tonight. But right now he's been a bit quiet. North Penn doing their homework. However, right now doing some homework and reading them like a book. It will be the tackle in the backfield. The Knights bringing the pressure as Wakefield unsuccessful on that carry. As the tackle from number 2, the sophomore Ethan Span, he'll make a mark on this game, meeting the man in the backfield, and will wrap him up. It will be now 3rd and 12 for the Indians offense.
Yeah, and this game could come down, maybe not come down, but when you look back at the game, this could be the play upcoming right now that could change the game and the result of it.
3rd and 12. Vince, the quarterback, with a low snap. He'll be forced to throw. He'll send this across the field. The one-arm reach. The intended receiver, number 18, Evan Kutzler, unsuccessful on the connection from senior to Kutzler. As this pass, the line drive just out of the reach. Trying to lead his man upfield, but you got to assume if he came down with that ball, Kenneth Grandy was just creeping up, ready to lay on the hit if that ball was brought in by Kutzler.
Yeah, that was going to be a tight window. You're going over the middle in a high ball. A lot of injuries happen on those plays.
For the first punt we're going to get set to see tonight, Leyland will send this away from the Indians' own 10-yard line and receives and getting some running room before being wrapped up, as it will be John Dolan, a big name we've seen tonight from an underclassman. You talk about homecoming being some festivities for seniors and a big highlight. The underclassman, John Dolan, with some of the biggest action we've seen leading up to this matchup tonight, now in week 7. Dolan getting the job done on the coverages on defense. He'll get this punt return for a couple yards and will put the Knights right away in Souderton territory at the 49.
And you go back to that last pass play from Souderton as that Zelt hands his ball off. But you go back to that pass play, you got to remember, this is probably the first game where the quarterback's throwing in cold weather. We haven't seen a lot of cold weather so far in the season, so maybe their hands aren't used to it just yet, and that could be a factor in this game.
Jacob Horan, wearing number 3 tonight for the Indians, will wrap up Kenneth Grandy in the backfield for a loss of 3. So 2nd and 13, the Knights will dig themselves into a hole on this early part of this drive. 2nd and 13, Zelt in the shotgun with RJ McNamara in his back left pocket. However, as the teams will form up at the line of scrimmage, a timeout from North Penn, the second of the night, will stop play at 2 minutes and 4 seconds in this matchup. The Knights offense at 2nd down, 13 yards to the first, standing at their own 48. And Prashant, Coach Beck with his second call timeout of this first half. What do you assume he's talking about in that huddle there with seniors such as Evan Span around him?
Well, he's probably talking about, first of all, of course, the play, but how big this drive could be. You got the first stop of the game. Neither team has stopped each other, so that was a huge momentum shift by the defense to get the ball back and not allow any points. They got to capitalize on it.
So as both teams will get set to break their respective huddles, they will be set up and begin the charge across the midfield, standing at their own 48-yard line of North Penn in their navy blue jerseys and Columbia blue trim and helmets. Zelt will receive the high snap, and he'll get this off and pushing across midfield and wrapped up with the tackle there provided by number 52 of the Indians, Angus Evanick, on the senior RJ McNamara. The Knights wrapped up at the 44, a gain of 8, and the Knights now at 3rd and 5. A minute and 30 seconds left here in the first half of action. Zelt will hand it off once again, pushing across midfield and right up the gut of Souderton's defensive line is RJ McNamara. However, the linebackers will bring the pressure, and number 16, CJ Turmo, will wrap them up at about the line of scrimmage. A short game for the Knights, as it will be 4th and 1, and you got to assume, and right on cue, head coach Dick Beck will keep the offense on the field for the Knights. And once again, displaying the trust he has in this team. Prashant, what are you expecting here? 4th and 1, QB sneak, perhaps, and just trying to find their way across with 52 seconds left in our first half of action.
Well, I expect a run play, but personally for me, I would take a shot. You have under 50 seconds to go. Why not take a shot down the middle of the field or maybe to the sideline? Go for the end zone, you know? See if you can get that big play to end the half.
And Coach Dick Beck will call his third and final timeout of this first half with 43 seconds on the clock here left in our first half of action before both teams head to the locker room. However, we will stay on the broadcast for halftime, where homecoming festivities will be set underway as on the track our respective kings and queens will be on the track and get set to head onto the big stage at halftime for North Penn's 2019 homecoming. The 2020 court members are set and ready to go, where members will get set for the homecoming festivities. It's been an all-day festival quite at North Penn, as a full week, Spirit Week, Blacklight Pep Rally, and pregame tailgate leading up to tonight's kickoff fed into a packed student section, all repping their last time in the Swamp t-shirts for the last homecoming game in Crawford Stadium tonight. So while North Penn is bringing all the energy on our side of the field from the booth, Souderton is bringing the fight of their own as they're looking to disrupt the homecoming party here on their own end of the field. However, in the first half of action, they're bringing a bit of boost of speed of their own. But right now, it's RJ McNamara laying on the pressure. A first down thanks to the big man. The Knights offense pushing across as Ryan Zelt will spike it into the ground to kill the clock at 33 seconds left in our first half of action. And looking once again at the track, the homecoming court will make their way across, led by Aaron Shee, escorted by Brendan McLaughlin. A great sight to see, as the student section will bring some energy, but right now it's going to be the freshman Ryan Zell and the Knights offense on the field, looking to bring even more energy to this North Penn football squad. With 33 seconds, the clock will be set there, 2nd and 10 in Souderton territory at the 37. Zelt in the shotgun, he'll step back, look to his left and to his right. Zelt, line drive over the middle, received and brought in, hauled in by the big man. It's Evan Spann, the senior. The clock will continue.
And there was that big
it
play.
will be wrapped up.
There was that big play I was talking about. Get down the field quick. If not in the end zone, get down into the red zone. There it is.
And a knee there will stop the play. A 31-yard completion to Evan Spann. Zelt will send this bullet pass across the middle. Evan Spann will reach up with the height. He's going to haul this one in. Take the hit from the secondary. Number 5, Willie Goods on the coverage. Not quite enough pressure there provided against Evan Spann. Spann will haul this one in. 1st and 6 at the 6-yard line. The Knights are knocking on the door, but they're going to have to do it with 25 seconds to work with and no timeouts. And a timeout called by Souderton, as the Indians will head to the defensive playbook and look over what they have to answer against the Knights offense, which has been extremely successful tonight. Prashant, what does North Penn need to do to bring this crowd to their feet once again, as you see on your screen now, and punch in another score on this matchup tonight?
I'm going with the slant route. I think it's worked incredibly well for the Knights going on the slant. I want to see them do it again. If not, RJ McNamara, Evan Spann is a good option for that.
And what other names do you expect to see on this play? Not so much, well, I mean, we've obviously talked about the guys who put up the scoring, but also the blocks. What are you expecting to see on this quick play?
Well, if RJ McNamara isn't involved on the play as a receiver, he could be a big blocker down the field. Evan Spann, though, we did see that one block earlier. Maybe if they try to go work outside, we could see a block from him.
And a key note as well that we've mentioned, Kalani Ian still not in the game, as he is on the sidelines and just out right now. It's been Kenneth Grandy, the senior, repping number 4 tonight, taking much of the snaps in the backfield, as he will be set up in the back of the I formation once again.
Yeah, Kalani has not moved from that bench.
Zelt to Grandy. He'll try and find some space. No answer there, as the hole will be wrapped up by Souderton. The linebackers will meet Grandy in the backfield as a short carry and gainage of yards, but 10 seconds on the clock. It will be a floater. Zelt to Spann, just through the arms of Evan Spann. North Penn wanting a flag there on your far back right part of your screen, the back right of the end zone. Unsuccessful. Souderton will come up with the answer.
Yeah, and even if there is a little bit of a pass interference on some of those fade routes, a lot of refs will give some slack just because it's a fade route. It's one-on-one. They want to see who can come down with it.
So with 5 seconds and no timeouts, Coach Dick Beck will put trust in his kicker, Daniel Moon, the junior, to put up the extra points and try and propel the Knights with 3 points and an 8-point lead heading into halftime. Nate Brown, the senior, will get set. He'll receive it. The set is up. The lunge of number 52, unsuccessful. However, Daniel Moon's kick is no good. Number 52 applying the pressure. He was able to get immediately across the line of scrimmage. Angus Evanick will be the answer Souderton needed. The field goal is no good, and a little bit of miscommunication down on the field right now, as the call will be against North Penn, and the field goal will be no good with 2 seconds left on the clock.
First down and 10 for Souderton.
So first down and 10 from their own 20-yard line with 2 seconds left before halftime. Quite assumingly so, they're just going to take a knee as the formation will be set up to do so. So with the score at 26-21, the Knights locking down their home turf here in the first half of action with a 5-point lead, concluding our first half of action. But as you see on that field goal attempt, once again, Souderton creeping across
He just spun
the
a little
line
bit
of
too
scrimmage
much.
once away. And this ball not going through the uprights. It's just a no-good kick from Daniel Moon.
Yeah, it was a high snap, but he got it down in time. I think Daniel Moon just kind of hooked it a little bit.
But as that will conclude our first half of action, be sure to stick with us for second half action on North Penn Television, with the Knights leading 26-21, continuing to lock down their home turf against the rivals of the Souderton Indians. But as your screen now, we have some bigger business to get to, as a bigger stage once again under the Friday Night Lights will be set up, as the court members of Homecoming will make their way around the track, and Homecoming festivities will get set to get underway. The King and Queen will be presented as the electric atmosphere, crowns, banners, sashes, and flowers line our field tonight. And the student section, without skipping a beat, continues to bring the energy here at Crawford Stadium with the packed house on your home side of the screen and field tonight. And Prashant, what can you mention about this homecoming game? Not only is it an extremely big game in the season, standing at the midpoint for both teams when they'll be facing off, it's always a conference foe. It was CB East last year, and North Penn able to send the home crowd home happy last year with a victory of their own. Right now, it's the Knights once again with the lead, and the homecoming crew on field once again.
Yeah, and you see the hype already from the get-go. Kevon White with a returning touchdown, a 98-yard return right down the middle, and he got this crowd going real fast.
The opening kickoff of the game, it's Kevon White, the senior. Within the 10, it was all green grass in the end zone in sight for the senior.
And then Souderton responds with a 38-yard run by Wakefield with 7:54 left in the first quarter, tied 7-7.
DeAndre Wakefield with multiple end zone visits in this first half.
Yeah, and then you're going to see the pass to Evan Spann down the middle for a slant. Touchdown right there. Kalani Eaton with 1,000 yards on that possession. RJ McNamara with a huge touchdown right there. And then you see the flat route to White for a touchdown for Souderton.
A big answer there for Souderton. Jalen White with the carry. He'll make his first of 2 in the first half.
And Ryan Zout's going to find RJ McNamara with the stiff arm, and then Evan Spann with a big block. And McNamara with the juke right there to score the touchdown.
And quite the biggest play of that first half was definitely RJ McNamara finding his way to the end zone. But right now, we'll send it over to our PA announcers tonight for homecoming court festivities. It's Carson Francis and Janice Park bringing you all the action for the homecoming halftime event.
Chamber Singers Orchestra, SGA, SGA Cabinet, NPTV, Link Crew, Core Link Leaders, Thespian Troupe, North Penn Theater, and lastly, he is the vice president of the Thespians. Jamin has been in every North Penn High School theater production since entering high school. In college, he plans to continue with theater and major in acting. He would like to thank Mrs. Roney for always being there for him and helping him find his passion and love for theater. Outside of school, Jamin works at Chick-fil-A and loves to hang out with his friends. His favorite quote is, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jamin Crosby.
Our next court member is Miss Erin Chi, escorted by Brendan McLaughlin. Erin has been an athlete in unified bocce and unified track for the past 3 years at North Penn. Her biggest accomplishment is winning states in her sophomore year, where North Penn's bocce team won their first state championship in the first year of the team's creation. She enjoys saying hi to her teachers in the hallways and in the classroom. Erin likes to do photography in her free time. Her future plans include a career in the art or music fields. Erin's favorite quote is, "We generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action." Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Erin Chi.
Our next court member is Mr. Ryan Green, escorted by Tina Carcacci. Ryan's favorite thing to do in his free time is skiing. Ryan has skied for 5 years and has been a member of the Ski and Board Club since 8th grade. He had a very busy summer working as an assistant manager at Rita's, volunteering at Mitzvah Circle, and jet skiing and parasailing at the beach. Ryan enjoys hanging out with his friends and family and playing video games. His future career plan is to work as a computer programmer while living somewhere with lots of good skiing. His favorite quote is from Bill Gates: "Choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan Green.
Our next court member is Miss Gianna Costello, escorted by Justin DePietro. Gianna has been playing softball for 13 years and plays on the North Penn team. She is also a part of the Spanish Honor Society, Mini-Thon Committee, and works with ESL students during her free periods. When she grows up, Gianna wants to be a special education teacher and currently babysits a girl with Down syndrome every day after attending career study at Gwynn-Nora Elementary. Additionally, Gianna plans to travel to different Spanish-speaking countries in her future to help kids learn English, as inspired by Dr. Hall's Dominican Republic trip last summer. Her favorite quote is, "It is okay to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time." Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Gianna Costello.
Our next court member is Mr. Jack Kim, escorted by Grace Sacchetti. Jack has been playing water polo since he was 6. He has won 2 state titles in back-to-back years with his team. He has been the vice president of the class since sophomore year and enjoys being the president of the Spikeball Club. Also, he enjoys being a member of the Political Activism Club, Jewish Cultural Club, Special Olympics, National Honor Society, and FBLA. He plans to go to college and major in business and have boatloads of fun along the way. His favorite quote is, "Life is like a sandwich. No matter which way you flip it, the bread comes first." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Kim.
Our next court member is Miss Sierra G, escorted by Chris Booth. You may know her by GCCC, or as Deb Kim would say, Speedy CC. From the very beginning, Sierra knew she was meant to be an athlete. She has just played about every sport, although her 2 major sports are field hockey, which she played for 8 years, and track and field for 7 years. Sierra is currently in the middle of the field hockey season and hopes to run track in the college at D1 or D2 level. Not only is she a student athlete, but Sierra works 3 jobs on the side as a camp counselor, waitress, and cashier at a pizza shop. Sierra is involved in many clubs, including AAAC, Best Buddies, Key Clubs, and Democrats Club. She is also a new member of the React and French Club. Her future plans include pursuing a job in the STEM field while possibly running an elite dance school on the side. If you know Sierra, Michael Jackson is her favorite artist. In the words of MJ, it's better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sierra G.
Our next court member is Mr. R.J. McNamara, escorted by Jane McNamara. RJ has been playing football for 12 years. He is the captain of both the football and lacrosse team. He has been a part of the ski and board club for 4 years now. He likes to spend time with his friends in his free time. His future plans include attending the University of Delaware to play football. His favorite quote is effort and attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. R.J. McNamara.
Our next court member is Miss Deborah Kim, escorted by Tony Zhu. As Sierra G would say, DeBron James is a member of the French Club, Class Cabinet, NHS, and FCA. She also is a captain for the North Penn field hockey team. In her free time, she enjoys spending time with family and friends and helping others, especially with volunteering at Vacation Bible School during her summers. She plans to continue her education and play field hockey at Swarthmore. Finally, she would like to thank her family for their loving care and support. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Deborah Kim.
Our next court member is Mr. Josh Martinez, escorted by Eliana Vicens. Josh has been going to this school for many years. He likes to listen to music and hanging out with his friends. Netflix is one of his favorite hobbies, and although he plays no sports, he likes to go for walks with his dog Zoe. He has been in a NAC club for a year and plans to major in business after graduating, hopefully somewhere not too cold. A quote that inspires him greatly is when Travis Scott says, "When I'm with my squad, I can do no wrong." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Josh Martinez.
Our next court member is Miss Val McGriff, escorted by Isaiah Hill. In her free time, Val can always be found participating in some kind of sport. She is currently a 3-sport athlete with volleyball, track, and predominantly basketball. Val has been hooping since the 7th grade and plans to continue her career in college. She is involved in the AAAC club and is now a leader of FCA. If Val is not playing a sport, then she is doing artwork or listening to her favorite music. She also enjoys helping others with their problems, so she plans to major in psychology to prepare for her dream job as a therapist. Val's favorite quote is, "Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier." Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Val McGriff.
Our next court member is Mr. Peter N.G., escorted by Chris Hahn. Peter is the current president of the Japanese Language and Cultural Club. He is a member of the Chinese Cultural Club, Investment Club, ADAPT, and National Honor Society as well. In his free time, he likes to play basketball, watch movies, and read. He also volunteers at Abington Lansdale Hospital and his church every weekend. His future plans include going to college and having a career in the medical field. His favorite quote is, "Don't let anyone steal your dreams." Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter N.G.
Our next court member is Miss Elena Mullally, escorted by Mike Chafee. Elena has been playing basketball for 12 years and is captain of the North Penn girls team and also is on the lacrosse team. She enjoys hanging out with her friends and volunteering at Abington Lansdale Hospital and Townminson Fire Company. Elena spent time in the Dominican Republic this summer volunteering at a local school. She is also involved in Key Club, National Honor Society, and is on the executive board for Minithon. Elena plans on studying clinical psychology somewhere warm. Her favorite quote is, "Look around you and appreciate what you have because nothing will be the same in a year." Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Elena Mullally.
Our next member of the court is Mr. Justin O'Neill, escorted by Liana Murphy. Justin enjoys photography, hanging out with his friends, traveling, watching football, and making videos at the high school. He is an active member of FBLA, Key Club, Best Buddies, Salsa Club, Epics, and of course, NPTV. His future plans are to pursue his dream of being a famous Hollywood screenwriter. In the process, he would like to earn an Academy Award for his work. His favorite quote is, "They call me Judd," said by none other than himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin O'Neill.
Our next court member is Miss Julia Stevens, escorted by Kevin Schuyler. Julia has been swimming since she was 9 years old and is a part of the swim team here at North Penn. She enjoys going to the beach with her friends, cheering on the football team at every home game, and going to concerts. Julia is a recording secretary of SGA and is also involved in NHS, Link Crew, and High Schools Against Cancer. Her favorite part about North Penn is the size and the amount of opportunities offered here. Julia hopes to attend college and major in occupational therapy or education. Her favorite quote is by Andy Bernard from The Office. "I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them." Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julia Stevens. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 homecoming court.
Before we announce our 2019 Homecoming King and Queen, we would like to thank Country Bride and Gent for donating the tuxedos the gentlemen are wearing this evening. They can take care of all your prom, wedding, and formal needs.
We would also like to give a special thanks to our SGA co-advisors, Miss Young and Mr. Berger.
At this time, we'd like to welcome back our 2019 Homecoming King, Mr. Julian White, and our 2019 Homecoming Queen, Miss Elena Faison. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our second runner-up for Homecoming King is Mr. Justin O'Neill.
And our second runner-up for Homecoming Queen is Miss Gianna Costello.
Our first runner-up for Homecoming King is Mr. R.J. McNamara.
And our first runner-up for Homecoming Queen is Miss Val McGriff.
And now, the Homecoming King of 2019 is Mr. Jamin Crosby.
And finally, our 2019 homecoming queen is Miss Erin Chi.
We would once again like to congratulate Mr. Jamin Crosby and Miss Erin Chi and all the members of the 2019 Homecoming Court.
Thank you and good luck Knights in the second half.
All right, and another great look at the homecoming court. The winners tonight to the homecoming court here in 2019. The 2020 class being showcased on your screen now. Justin O'Neill going left to right. Justin O'Neill, Gianna Costello, Erin Chi, Jamin Crosby, Valerie McGriff, and RJ McNamara. And your winners right in the middle with the flowers. Your king, Mr. Jamin Crosby, and your queen, Miss Erin Chi. An outstanding group on your screen, as I mentioned, highlighting the 2020 class. An outstanding homecoming event. Once again, the festivities all week leading up to the ultimate crowning of Miss Erin Chi and Mr. Jamin Crosby. And now we'll send it away for the rest of our coverage for the second half of North Penn football between the Souderton Indians and North Penn Knights.
It's true.
Summer is almost over.
But the good news is,
What's ahead
What tomorrow holds. What's next?
is up to you.
Because no matter where you come from,
or where you want to go,
You are welcome here.
and what your future looks like,
Your choice. So make the most of this year.
this opportunity,
to try new things, explore
Grow.
find your path.
And show us what you can do.
what you have,
Where do you want to go?
and we'll do our best.
To help you get there.
Look out for one another. Help each other along the way.
Make this year a good one.
A great one.
The best.
The one that you deserve. Yay!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to tonight's coverage of high school football on North Penn Television. You're attuned to Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or NPTV YouTube Live. I'm Eric Jesperger alongside Prasham Jobaputra calling the action. But before we get to Prasham, tonight I am joined by the Eagles Autism Challenge ambassador.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
The 2016 North Penn Homecoming Court winner himself.
How are you? Good to
and
see
my
you.
goodness, I'm doing great, Ben. How are you doing
I'm
tonight?
doing amazing.
Awesome to have you join us on the booth. You won the 2016 Homecoming King selection.
And I just
What is
wanted
it
to
like-
say
yeah.
I'm very proud of Erin. Erin, she did a really great job winning Queen, so she is amazing.
Miss Erin Shee winning the Queen for this year's Homecoming. Also, Mr. Jamin Crosby winning King. Both members being prestigious members of the North Penn community and the 2020 class here at North Penn. What does a homecoming event mean to you, Ben?
I mean, it's every year when I remember when I won, it was just like amazing experience because I really wanted to win, and my parents thought, on the other hand, I don't know if you're gonna win, and I won because of all the people and all the supporters who voted for me.
That's awesome to hear. All the support you have all around this North Penn family and community.
Yep.
Also here at North Penn, you are a mayor, very well known, and also the Eagles Autism Challenge ambassador.
Yes.
What did Homecoming and this North Penn family do for you to reach some of those goals you wanted to reach?
I really wanted to get on the Ellen show like last year, and I did. And the goals that I had were to make our community a better place and Ellen's quote is always to be kind to one another. So we should always be kind to one another wherever we go.
Awesome. Great having you up here in the booth with us tonight.
Yep.
The man himself, Ben Hartranth,
Thank
here
you
with
so
the
much.
booth joining alongside me. And for one last thing, you want to give me a Go Knights for this game tonight.
And I'm going to do an Eagles chant. Go Knights! E-A-G-L-E-S! Eagles!
Awesome, Ben, bringing his home crowd to their feet. And my goodness, the action getting back underway. Thanks for joining me tonight, Ben. Awesome having you.
Thank you.
And make sure have a great night. The man
Thank you so
himself,
much.
Ben Hartranth.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, and getting back to the action tonight, we're kicking off our second half of action here on North Penn Television. I'm Eric Jesperger alongside Prasham Jobaputra, and you're watching Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or our YouTube Live channel on North Penn Television. The Knights enter the second half of action with a 26-21 lead over their arch rivals, crosstown rivals, the Souderton Indians. And with a 5-point lead, Prasham, what were some of the highlights you picked off and were picking out of the first half of action as some of the major milestones to the first half of play between both strong squads tonight?
We can't go very far without mentioning one, and that is that kickoff return by Kavan White, 98 yards to the house. And then later, little bit later on, or actually on the next possession by Souderton, you had a 38-yard run by Wakefield for a touchdown to tie it up. And then closer to the end of the first half, you had R.J. McNamara receive a pass, stiff arm a defender. Evan Spann provided a block, and R.J. McNamara took it to the house for a 63-yard touchdown. And those have kind of been those big plays that, you know, Coach Beck doesn't want to see. And, of course, I'm sure the Souderton coach can say the same.
You see the offensive dominance being kind of showcased tonight over the defenses for both squads and both sides of the ball. And as for to kick off this second half, North Penn receiving the ball in the first half to kick off our game tonight. And it would be the man, as you mentioned, Kavan White, kicking off with a 98-yard kickoff touchdown return of his own. It's Souderton's offense receiving the ball to kick off the second half of action here at Crawford Stadium. However, on a 4th and 2, they will wisely punt this ball away deep in their own end of the field. And this ball not quite lifted as much as Souderton would like from the right foot of William Leyland. This will roll a home field bounce, will roll towards the North Penn sideline, stopping the ball, rolling it out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. North Penn in Souderton territory already, and they're led by the freshman Ryan Zelt, the quarterback, and also many key members and names to this North Penn offense as well. Prasham, Kenneth Grandy, and Evan Spann have been the major factors, along with R.J. McNamara, one of the main homecoming court members, placing in the top 3, placing second place in the homecoming court and homecoming selection. What can you say about the big names we've seen tonight from all 3 seniors?
Yeah, well, you know, I keep saying it, but I'll say it one more time. Julian White had a big game, and he was homecoming king last year during homecoming. R.J. McNamara is kind of replicating that. Already 2 touchdowns for him. And Evan Span, his first game back in a while on homecoming, and that just adds a little bit more extra emotion that he needs.
Zelt will get a quick handoff off to RJ McNamara. A spin move will get through 2 initial tackles, and then 3, 4, and count that 5. Souderton Indians will have to touch the senior to bring down the big man, as RJ McNamara will move the chains downfield, wrapping up the senior at about the 29-yard line. A first downs and a fresh to the down set for the Knights. Zelt under center, backfield in the I formation, handed off to Kenneth Grandy, and Grandy will be met hard in the backfield and wrapped up at the line of scrimmage as number 60 will surge through the line of scrimmage. CJ Torma, the menace and the turn we've seen tonight from Souderton's linebackers, pushing across the line of scrimmage. It's Torma getting to Grandy and wrapping him up. Set at the 29-yard line, 2nd and 9. The Knights looking to avoid a 3rd and long. The handoff to Grandy, unsuccessful. Souderton will read out this play and send Grandy hard into the grass and dirt here at Crawford Stadium. On your far side of the screen, 3rd and long is what they look to avoid, but 3rd and long is what Souderton will only allow them to get.
Yeah, and the Knights need to capitalize here. You got to stop. They got to stop last half, and they didn't capitalize. So you need to get one now and get that touchdown, or even just a score to make it a 2-possession game.
So you got to talk about with a 5-point lead. This is a major part of this ball game tonight. Kicking off the second half, you won momentum. And right now, Ryan Zell will look to bring it for the Knights. A pass over center. He'll connect with senior Justin DePietro. He'll get through the initial coverage on him, and then will trot his way, leap across before being wrapped up at the shoelaces. DePietro will be tackled just short of the first down, but doing everything in his power and putting the Knights in very comfortable field position. Even though it's 4th and 1, we know North Penn is able to punch their way across for this short yard gain, correct, Prasham?
Yeah, but to be fair, they had a 4th and 2 early on in the game, and they went to Evan Span on the pass. So it's not a 4 short, but it looks like it'll be a run play based on the formation it was.
Zelt to McNamara. He will bounce off the initial tackle attempt, but then surge his way through the second and make his way across the first down marker, moving the chains farther towards the North Penn end zone visit. Souderton is looking to lock down their end zone and keep the Knights where they are with only a 5-point lead in this 3rd quarter of play tonight. Zelt under center. Right-hand handoff. He'll find a spin move for Kenneth Grandy, the backfield member, taking much of the carries throughout the 2nd quarter and so far the 3rd quarter tonight. Without the underclassman, the sophomore Kalani Eaton, Prasham, what does Kenneth Grandy need to do to make sure he continues to surge this offense downfield and make their way to the end zone?
Well, obviously they're 2 very different running backs. Kalani Eaton's a power back. Ken Grandy, great player, but he's a little bit on the smaller side, so he's not going to be powering through, this offensive line. He's going to be, the agile running back, that speed back that you need.
I mean, you talk about Kalani Eaton, a sophomore fullback and linebacker on the Knights roster, standing at 5'10", but 195 pounds, and he is a man who is very comfortable lowering the shoulder, feeding that helmet-to-helmet contact, and bringing the cheerleaders like we've seen tonight into many push-up positions for every North Penn Knights score. The push-ups have to be along the tracks from the North Penn cheerleaders, as you saw on your screen there. But here's Nate Brown looking to find his way across the middle. He will be wrapped up just short of the end zone. Nate Brown, the senior, will take this in the backfield. As a stoppage of play, the officials will meet up this ball just short. With a gain of 6, Nate Brown, it will be 2nd and goal at the 2-yard line. Lining up. Just a skip and a jog into the end zone is all the Knights need. Zelt, a surge and a boost of speed. No one will stop him, coming right down the gut of the Souderton linebackers. It is R.J. McNamara, the senior, the story of our matchup tonight. His third end zone visit for the Knights offense. And North Penn will surge to 30-plus points in our matchup tonight over their crosstown rivals of Souderton. But this game is well but over as we stand here with just under 5 minutes in our third quarter play. And it'll be Daniel Moon. He missed his previous last 2 kicks. The field goal no good. This extra point will be through the uprights. And Moon's extra point will surge the Knights, propelling them to a 33-21 lead. With 4 minutes eaten off the clock. We talk about ball control and eating up the clock, especially in the later parts of games. Prashant, what does North Penn need to do to not only keep themselves ahead on the scoreboard, but also eat up that clock time to prevent Souderton from finding their way going end zone to end zone for more times tonight?
Well, they're very good at eating the clock up. You know, North Penn is kind of known for that, I think, at least in my opinion. Run the ball. You don't have Kalani in, though. That's going to be a key factor. Can they keep the ball on the ground and continue to stockpile first downs?
Some great insight there from Prasham. As the Knights on the right side of his screen, once again repping their navy blue uniforms with the Columbia blue trim and helmet. They will get set to kick it left to left, going from the right foot of Daniel Moon, sending it to the Souderton Indians, the visitors tonight, receiving the ball in their white jerseys, the red trim and the red pants on the left side of your screen. This kick will make its way to the 10 and be picked up by the Indians. Number 6 with the carry, Nick Guthrie, who's been quiet tonight. He will bring the home crowd, or the visitors rather, on your far side of the screen to their feet as he'll get a boost of speed, stutter stepping within the sidelines and pick up the most yards he's had so far tonight. Nick Guthrie, the senior and the menace we've seen in previous weeks, finally making his way into a big impact in this one. And Prashant, what can you mention about head coach Dick Beck, the film sessions this team has, defense and offense? But for right now, the defense able to do some homework on Guthrie. They've obviously have done. What does that kind of film sessions and preparation for every week have on a team looking to push their way into a successful playoff run?
Well, obviously they've done their homework like you said, and they've limited him. But they obviously put a lot of effort into the film work on Guthrie, as Wakefield has kind of been their, star player, you could say, for the Indians.
This tackle wrapped up in the backfield by Corey Kime, the senior captain for the Knights. The carry from Wakefield unsuccessful to pick up many yards as it will be 2nd and 10. Wakefield will take it once again from Vince. He'll find his way, bounce off Nate Brown, the linebacker, before Nate Brown will be able to get his arms around them. Helped out by the underclassmen of Ethan Spann along your close side of your screen. The Indians will be wrapped up, and the ball set at the 41-yard line on North Penn's, just about at North Penn's midfield. From the big red zone 41, it will be 3rd down and 4. Under center, Vince, one man in his back pocket in the backfield. The motion, the fake, and it will be handed off up the middle, but North Penn will sniff it out, and Ethan Spann, the underclassman, once again will stop him at the line. Number 6 with the carry, Nick Guthrie, unsuccessful. Creeping up was Spann, and he's able to pounce on Guthrie, trying to find his way with an open hole to the right. Spann will lock it up. A brick wall will come at him. And 4th down and 1 will be Souderton's must-needed conversion tonight.
Yeah, and you know, the defense has been picking up some steam. 2 stops already after kind of back and forth action. We'll see if they can get another one.
Both crowds on their feet. Hearing the noise here at Crawford. The Vince handoff. In the backfield, wrapped up. 2 Knights unable to wrap up Wakefield. They had him in the backfield. McNamara able to creep up and get the boost of speed, get the first step. But the senior halfback at 5'10", 168 pounds will lower the shoulder and lunge his way, the right arm reaching out and a first down for Souderton will be successful on 4th and 1. A fresh set of downs in the chains set in North Penn territory. Vince, the quarterback, will step back, look to his left. He'll send a line drive across the middle on a slant route. Number 18, Evan Ketzler, looking like he was able to get an arm under the ball and come up with it just above the North Penn freshly trimmed grass. And a stoppage of play. The officials will meet up, ruling this ball as a completion and a first down for Souderton. With a gain of 10, this slant route, the most successful we've seen in recent drives for Souderton. Andrew Vince connecting with Kutzler, but with the action continuing to lay on. Vince will get a quick handoff. The backfield's been busy tonight. This time North Penn's linebackers and defensive line will win the battle in the trenches at the line of scrimmage. Nick Guthrie wrapped up with a very short game, if any.
Corey Keim on the tackle that time, the senior captain.
No gain on the play. Second down and 10 for Souderton from the 41-yard line.
Ethan Spann will make his way towards the sidelines as he'll converse with head coach Dick Beck. But right now on the field, it's the Knights defense looking to lock it down here on 2nd and 10. Motion faked. As the handoff faked to Jalen White, Andrew Vince will tuck it and take a carry of himself. Pushing across for a short game, however, as the Knights able to answer to the quarterback sneak with a gain of 3. It's 3rd down and 6 with 45 seconds and ticking in our 3rd quarter of play. Another must-needed 3rd down conversion here for the Indians. Number 18, the lone man, Evan Ketzler, on your close side of the screen. Vince will step back. He'll look for Kutzler and then be forced into pressure before the senior, the captain, number 17, Nate Brown, the linebacker, will meet Andrew Vince at the line of scrimmage. Vince obviously looking for Kutzler, the lone man on the close side of the screen. However, no answer there just before Nate Brown was the only man coming at him. Face mask was the only view before hitting the hard grass here of Crawford Stadium. Nate Brown meeting Vince in the backfield. And with a timeout, a stoppage of play. Rather, at the end of the 3rd quarter, as a timeout from our action tonight. Our 3rd quarter will wrap up, and as you see, head coach Dick Beck making his way into a small huddle with some of the senior leaders, the Spann brothers, in addition to the team. They will be conversing over the attack they plan to have against the Souderton Indians in our 4th quarter of action, getting ready to kick off shortly. Prasham, we have seen the offenses highlight this game tonight. The defense has been stepping up as of late, however. What do you expect most in our 4th quarter play in this ultimate rivalry game? I personally couldn't wait to see all week.
Well, I mean, the same thing kind of happened last week. The Knights got that big lead in the first half, and then not a single point scored in the second half between both teams. You know, maybe the Knights kind of got that lead they're looking for, and now are really going to key in on defense and running out that clock once they do get the ball back. But obviously, the defense needs to get a stop here, and then I would have to say, you know, I think they have a pretty good chance to win after that.
4th down and 8. The offense will stay on the field for Souderton. So starting off our 4th quarter play, it's a must-needed conversion for the Big Red. Andrew Vince rolling to his right. He'll look back to his left. He'll find number 15 with the reception, Smorecki, but laid out along the sidelines. Number 15, North Penn's R.J. McNamara will send Smorecki into North Penn's bench. And my goodness, laying on the hit, the exclamation point to that drive. It's North Penn's defense winning out, thanks to the tackle and finish by R.J. McNamara.
And I thought Vince might have had a shot down the field on the right side. Couldn't tell what receiver it was, but it was one-on-one near the sideline. It looked like he got pretty good I guess you could say, jump on the defender.
Unsuccessful, I believe, for the first time tonight on a 4th down conversion attempt. North Penn will take over on the turnover on downs as Kenneth Graney with the carry will pick up a yard or two before Souderton will surge across the linebackers, finding their way squeaking through the offensive line and wrap up the senior with only a gain of 1. So for 2nd and 9, real quick, highlighting that last play, real quick, Brashawn, the defense been quite quiet the first half. It was just a trade of end zone appearances for both teams. What can you mention about R.J. McNamara leading the defense right there on that last drive, in addition to Nate Brown stepping up against the Souderton offense?
Yeah, screen pass right there, but he's just kind of led the way. You know, R.J. McNamara, 3 touchdowns, as we already said, and he's had a lot of big plays on defense. Talk about the pass rush all the time with the North Penn Knights, and he's been getting there to the quarterback.
Fellow senior member Nate Brown bringing the home crowd and the energy from the student section. And as we mentioned, the senior, number 17, Nate Brown, a surge of speed through the tackle attempt before number 40 of Souderton, Luke Pollock, the sophomore, able to wrap him up along the sidelines. So North Penn's offense set to get going on their own 48. 1st and 10. Backfield of the I formation. Zelt will look downfield. He'll launch this ball. Look for Evan Spann. In and out of the hands of the senior. The connection earlier was successful to Spann to wrap up our 2nd quarter action. However, right there, Spann unable to come down with the ball. Zelt had the arm, had the strength, had the muscle to get it to the senior for the opportunity to bring that one in. However, Spann just unable to look it in for the reception.
Yeah, a little bit underthrown by Zelt. Had Spann on his back feet, backpedaling. But definitely a pass I think Evan Spann knows he should have caught and would have set up the Knights.
Zelt will hand it off to McNamara. And R.J. McNamara having no answer on your far side of the screen, but a flag will come in for the first time tonight.
Number 15, R.J. McNamara with the carry.
A penalty will be called. Where on the play we've seen, we saw earlier the sidelines bounding a call against the Souderton Indians after that first end zone visit for the Indians. This time it will be in the actual action of our play tonight. This call being called against the defense of Souderton. So a 15-yard penalty will result in a 1st down, and the Knights putting the 1st down markers in Souderton territory.
1st and 10 for the Knights from the Souderton 37-yard line.
Set up at the 37. North Penn looking to take a commanding lead if they're able to find their way to the end zone once again tonight. The handoff to Kenneth Grandy. He will surge his way, and with some help from the back of Nate Brown pushing forward the pile, it's R.J. McNamara with the carry as he will make his way towards the 1st down marker with a gain of 7. However, a stoppage of play as a down Knight will be favoring looks to be his right arm down on a knee. And I believe, if it is so from here, I believe this is senior captain Corey Kime down on the field with the trainers now.
Yeah, and Kime has battled quite a few of injuries. You know, before the season even started, he was battling a pinky injury, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, he's had his fair share of injuries, but he's always ready to go, I think. You know, he's always battling back, and he's always ready to go as soon as he gets on that field.
Similar to Evan Spann coming back tonight after missing 4 weeks of action, I got to catch up with the senior captain, Evan Spann, before tonight's matchup against the arch rivals, Souderton, entering their home turf, Crawford Stadium tonight. And he mentioned that the leadership is something he was looking to try and have tonight and just play an impact as he did in the majority of the beginning of the season. He was looking forward to playing well with Ryan Zelt once again tonight, looking to connect on more than just one deep long ball pass from freshman to senior. And he was just ready to get back, excited for the big stage tonight, and just ready to play with his brothers in blue. So great to hear from the senior and Captain Evan Spann, as we hope to see him make some more receptions tonight, as he has for multiple times today. putting the Knights in excellent field position, including an earlier touchdown in this second half. But with 9 minutes and 20 seconds and ticking in our fourth quarter, the Knights up 33-21, looking to punch their way to the ticket. And end zone once again. This pass intended on your far side of your screen for Evan Span. However, the coverage will win out, and Souderton will lock down the end zone from the intended receiver of Evan Span. As number 5, Willie Goods on the coverage. You see him not looking to just play the ball, looking to stay on the coverage. He'll get his body in the way of not only Span's arms, but view on the ball. Launched by Zelt, the floater, unable to connect. And the Knights will now get set here to do it again. 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line in Souderton territory. 2 wide receivers to either side of him. McNamara in his back pocket. Zelt will fake the pass, hand it off to McNamara. But RJ with a short gain for the senior. It will be 3rd and about 9 or 8 to go for the first down. The tackle there provided by Souderton's Jacob Horton, the junior, linebacker for the Indians. He's had a big name tonight against the rushing game of the Knights offense. However, it's been the offense winning out much of the battles from end zone to end zone. Right now, though, it's going to be Ryan Zelt on 3rd and 6, needing to lead the offense for the Knights. He'll connect with Kenneth Grandy. A spin move before getting laid out from behind. Number 28 will lay on the power, lay on the boom. Jariah Durstein with the finish off on Kenneth Grandy. But the Knights will do what they needed to do there. A first down from the right toss of Ryan Zelt. And Prashant, what can you talk about the connection Ryan Zelt has had with Kenneth Grandy throughout the past couple weeks with Evan Span out, but he continues to find the senior in the biggest stages of games?
Yeah, 2 big plays last week, and I talked to him about that last week after the game. He said they kind of practiced a little bit in the offseason, that kind of helped. But he kind of credited Kobe Barrow a lot to a lot of his success, and Ryan Zelt is just a modest guy, and it's kind of hard for, I can't believe he's a freshman quarterback and he's this modest. Doesn't let anything get to his head, and it's just always in the moment. And
you mentioned you called it with Coach Beck after last week's victory, 36-0 final score in favor of North Penn, right here on the very same field of Crawford Stadium last week, where the Knights topped Council Rock South, the Golden Hawks, unsuccessful in week 6. As we'll get RJ McNamara finding his way towards the end zone, but we wrapped up just short. Back-to-back rush attempts from the senior, unsuccessful. But you mentioned earlier, before getting ready for our broadcast tonight, that Coach Beck has some words to mention about the freshman, where he doesn't really see you as a freshman quarterback, right?
Yeah, and that just goes to show how much trust he has in Ryan. And another example of just showing the trust in Ryan Zelt is those deep passes. He's not scared to let Zelt let it loose. He's going to keep looking down the field.
3rd down and 2, knocking on the door, and Nate Brown will punch his way into the door and into the end zone for his first end zone appearance tonight. It's the senior, Nate Brown, putting the Knights up once again with a touchdown. Standing with the score at 39-21, the offense will stay on the field. Justin Petro will check in from the sidelines, and North Penn will get set for the extra point, and looking to put the Knights up at a 40-point score against the Souderton Indians in a game that has swayed in favor of the boys in blue. The snap held by Brown. The kick is up, and the junior will punch it in through the uprights. Daniel Moon with the kick. The extra point is good, as the Knights' extra point will put him up with a 40-21 point lead here in our Friday night matchup at Crawford Stadium. The kick would be good. A fist pump from Moon to senior Nate Brown following Nate Brown's end zone visit. And my goodness, this game, we talk about momentum shifts throughout multiple sports where we see scoring opportunities, big defensive stops, even some timeouts sway momentum into favor of one team or another. But you talk about the first half, back and forth, trading possessions, a 5-point score deficit is all that Souderton had to try and rebound against. They now trail by 19 with the final 6 minutes and 46 seconds getting ready to play in the fourth quarter. Prashant, what has swayed the momentum away from the Big Red in this game and put the boys in blue ahead?
You know, like I said, you had to capitalize on those stops, and they did. They scored on after their defense got some big stops when it was going back and forth, and that is going to be the reason that the Knights win this game, capitalizing on their defensive stops.
Kyle Bob with the kickoff reception. He'll be able to tiptoe his way around some tackles, even spin move his way before getting wrapped up and putting the Indians in excellent field position where Souderton is going to have to get things going and get things going quick if they want to try and pull off some kind of miracle at Crawford Stadium on the grass and dirt tonight here in our Friday Night Light action. As once again, I'm Eric Jesberg alongside Prashant Jobin-Putra calling all the action here at Crawford Stadium. As you are watching North Penn Television, Comcast Channel 28, Verizon Channel 29, or NPTV YouTube Live. Souderton will look downfield as Andrew Vince will launch his ball, looking to connect with the wide receiver. No flag, no call. The correct call as number 18, the intended wide receiver, Evan Kutzler, unable to be even close really to that ball. Vince launching it downfield, but Kenneth Graney will win out the battle, staying toe-to-toe with the senior and providing the coverage the Knights needed.
Yeah, and if that ball was a little bit closer to the receiver, I think you would have saw a PI call right there. Looked like they kind of got tangled up with the arms, and a definite PI call if that pass is a little bit closer.
So the officials will meet up, as rather would be a pass interference. I saw no flag. I believe you saw no flag either. Even our replay had no flag. The call would come in late. And Coach Beck letting the officials know that call wasn't quite what they were looking for, but also that wasn't called right away. So Souderton will win out in favor. The PI will go in favor of the Indians, the pass interference. And this handoff, the ground game will be put into motion once again. Nick Guthrie with the catch and the carry. But once again, not able to get the boost of speed we were expecting to see from the menace of the backfield for Souderton throughout the first 6 weeks of action, as he has led the Indians offense and the team overall to an undefeated record. However, tonight, if this game continues to go how it's been going, Souderton will receive their first loss on the season at hand of the North Penn Knights. And Prashant, for kind of a side note, looking at the records, North Penn coming into tonight at 5-1. The Indians, as I just mentioned, 6-0, undefeated. You talk about a big rivalry game, bringing not only the rivalry to every part of this game, the atmosphere, the student sections, the crowd, but also on the field of play and on the field of battle for both teams. What did this rivalry game and the big stage bring in favor of North Penn to step up against the undefeated conference foes?
Well, you know, I don't know if we can get another shot of that student section on the Souderton side, but it has emptied after being very packed in the first half. And that probably happened very recently after going up 19 for the Knights. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the rivalry. You know those fans want to be able to brag and say, we came to your home field on homecoming and took a win to stay undefeated. And you know the Knights fans want to say, we gave you the first loss on our home field during homecoming. So that just shows you this rivalry and who's going to have some bragging rights.
Andrew Vince's previous carry for a first down on the QB sneak. He'll step back, look to launch this ball. The pressure being felt, and it's Nate Brown forcing the ball loose. And Nate Brown, the senior, will come up with it. It is a forced fumble indeed. The officials will meet up. Andrew Vince wrapped up from behind, the sack from Brown. He'll rip this ball out. And if this is called correctly, this would be a forced fumble from the senior, and Nate Brown with the fumble recovery. As if we take another look at that replay, it did quite distinctly look like a North Penn forced fumble. However, the offense will stay on the field for Souderton. The officials saw something different. And unfortunately, that call would go in favor of the Big Red. But right now, they're looking to try and punch in their ticket here on 2nd and 19. They need an end zone visit and need it stat. McNamara's pressure will be felt. The pass, however, will be off and intended for number 44 across the middle. The pressure provided by John Dolan on the coverage. On number 44, DeAndre Wakefield. We talk about defense, and it's mainly the linebackers just because they're bringing the pressure to the quarterbacks. They're getting the sacks, the big tackles on running backs. But what can you talk about number 34, the sophomore John Dolan tonight, and with his coverages on the Souderton wide receivers and their routes?
Well, we haven't seen a whole lot of pass plays, for big yardage yet. It's been mostly the runs, or maybe some of the short passes that have broken into big yards, but not a whole lot of big plays through the air. And you got credit Dolan.
Vince will be forced to get a quick short pass off to number 6, Nick Guthrie. However, a sea of navy blue and Columbia blue will swarm up the senior. Nate Brown leading the charge with that tackle. The clock will continue to run. 3 minutes, 27 seconds left in our matchup tonight. 4th down and 22. Souderton has no choice but to go for it. And you can expect a long ball here for Souderton, sending up a prayer, trying to get a first down here and an end zone appearance.
Yeah, and they really have no choice, like you said. 4th and 22, you got to go through the air. We have a lone receiver. Well, not a lone receiver, but one split out wide. We'll see if they want to go to him. That's number 18.
Great insight there. Very well the game right now. And it will be North Penn winning out the battle. Andrew Vince tackled in the backfield. He'll be wrapped up at the 37-yard line, and it's North Penn locking down any opportunity of a Souderton comeback in this one, and a 4th down conversion. Spencer Howell with the tackle and the sack. The senior will step up for the Knights, and a turnover on downs will give the ball back over to the Knights offense. And with 2 minutes and 53 seconds on our clock, North Penn will host their crosstown rivals tonight, the undefeated Big Red, and they will walk off of their home court tonight after outstanding week of homecoming festivities leading up to our amazing and astonishing presentation at halftime, led by Janice Park and Carson Francis, members of North Penn Student Government, for the halftime festivities and the homecoming crowning of the King and Queen, Miss Aaron Shee and Mr. Jamin Crosby, the winners of the 2019 King and Queen selection for your North Penn 2019 homecoming. And they will send the home crowd home happy. The North Penn football squad will complete the victory over the undefeated Big Red. The Knights will propel and be put up to 6-1 in the standings with a record of 6-1. Souderton will now fall and have the identical record of 6-1 to their 2019 seasons.
Yeah, the Knights hand that loss that all the fans wanted to see Souderton get. They handed it to them, and North Penn's gonna be crazy come Monday morning at 7:21 when they're talking about the football game.
I mean, you talked about Souderton coming into tonight. 4 full buses leading Souderton students and fans to this game tonight. You talk about just a 15-minute drive down Allenton Road separates both these schools and is the major part of this rivalry being so close. 1,500 tickets were sold and sold by Tuesday leading up to this game tonight over at Souderton. The visitors would make an impact. They had their student section jumping. They had their phones flashing the lights back over at North Penn once Souderton was able to put up an end zone appearance of themselves in the first quarter and also take the lead in the first half. But you now look at the score and the student sections on both sides quite sum up this game and how North Penn was able to submerge in this rivalry under the Friday night lights at home. And with a timeout now, Prashant, what else can you mention about this rivalry and the ultimate aspect of a game where North Penn is able to step up against an undefeated rivalry foe they have been very familiar with for multiple years here at Crawford Stadium.
Well, this one could go down, in this rivalry history just because of the atmosphere. You had the student section, you had homecoming, you had a 6-0 team lose and get their first loss at the hands of the Knights in their home field. So, this one could go down in this North Penn Souderton rivalry.
Prasham, you and I have been excited for this game all week, getting ready to cover the rivalry game. We expected a lot of action, a lot of chippiness in between the lines and the game tonight, with some tensions, the rivalry, and the flair being brought to the action. We saw that all in the first half, but what in the second half did you see that ultimately just allowed North Penn to now just run down the clock with a 19-point lead in the final minutes?
Well, they had one stop in the first half, and they didn't capitalize on it. They had a big play, but they didn't get a score out of it because of a missed
And here's
touchdown.
McNamara running away with it. He's been the big name tonight, the headline of the story of North Penn on their homecoming game, and it's R.J. McNamara with the exclamation mark, the final note on this rivalry game over the Souderton foes. For the North Penn Knights, the senior R.J. McNamara with a boost of speed, 50-plus yard run for the big man, and it's the senior R.J. McNamara putting the Knights up with 46 total offensive points in our Friday night matchup, and 47 will look to be put up from the sister of R.J. McNamara, the freshman Grace McNamara, will enter the game for the extra point.
Yeah, R.J. McNamara might have not won homecoming king, but he wins the night with 4 touchdowns.
The extra point from Grace will be up and through the uprights. Grace McNamara with the extra point, her second on the 2019 season. You see the McNamara brother and sister duo meeting up after that kick. Great to see all of North Penn's family and the depth chart being showcased in this game tonight, where a rivalry game against an undefeated team proves no match against the Knights, as they will surge to just under 50 total offensive points put up against an undefeated team. What does this have to say about Souderton and how they will need to look to sit back, go back to film, go back to the playbook, and get set for their upcoming weeks and the second half of the 2019 season?
Well, you got to believe if you're Souderton and some of the future opponents get some film of this game, they're going to look at what North Penn did against Guthrie. They completely shut them down. And you got to look, maybe, they try to get some more film of what the North Penn defense did to stop him.
You talk about North Penn locking down the running backs and the big name of Nick Guthrie. Souderton unable to replicate that against the big man, number 15, R.J. McNamara tonight, as you just saw on your screen. Another end zone visit for the senior tonight. Souderton will get the kickoff return and finding some space before getting wrapped up behind. Ball comes loose. Number 6 with the kickoff return, Nick Guthrie. He will be wrapped up, sent down behind. The ball will come loose. However, look to be the call having a knee down, as the offense of the Indians will stay on the field. So Prashant, with just over a minute left in this game, what else he has to say about this game, where North Penn's able to surge across with a huge victory and also just able to come out dominant?
I know what I have to say about this game, Eric. Last homecoming for us, what a great homecoming to go out on. You had the North Penn Souderton rivalry. It was just a packed crowd. It was just a great atmosphere. It's probably the best atmosphere I think we've been around since we started covering these games.
Prashant and I have been calling the action of North Penn football up in the booth for the past 2 years. This one, personally for myself, was the most I was most looking forward to, just because the atmosphere is going to be electric from the kickoff all the way up to the final seconds of our matchup at Crawford Stadium tonight, where the Knights would host the crosstown rivals of Souderton. And the action would not disappoint, where North Penn would surge to a 47 offensive show-off performance. And after Souderton would able to find their way through the nooks and cracks of the defense of the Knights, they would be shut down for the rest of the second half.
Yeah, and that just shows, those halftime adjustments. I think that North Penn and Coach Beck does a really great job of just adjusting at halftime.
with our final minute of action left in our broadcast tonight. North Penn once again with a 47-21 point lead in our final minute of play at Crawford Stadium on North Penn's homecoming tonight. Andrew Vince will send up a prayer. This pass intended for number 5, Willie Goods, but picked off by the Knights, and pushing across, a reception taken away. Jalen Edwards with a second interception in the past 2 weeks. Jalen Edwards, the underclassman of North Penn, will pick off Vince's pass intended for Goods on your far side of your screen. And my goodness, the offense has played the biggest factor tonight, but the defense, Jalen Edwards, the hands of the underclassman, will pick off the pass of Vince intended for Goods. And North Penn will cap off this game with the defense, exclamation mark, with the pickoff from Edwards. So for the Knights offense, they'll now head up, break the huddle at the Souderton 30, and run down the rest of this clock with 52 seconds left in our fourth quarter action. It is North Penn on their home turf, on their own homecoming night, their own festivities, and their home of Crawford Stadium. They will defend the turf, the grass and dirt of Crawford Stadium, send Souderton and the packed house on the far side of your screen of the sea of black and red home, and give the Indians their first loss to the 2019 season. And as for North Penn, the home crowd will be sent home happy. My goodness, what a game. North Penn surging away with the victory, and will put up a show-off performance over their rivals for multiple seasons. In the 28 years North Penn's gates, the Crawford Stadium gates, have been open since 1991. We've seen electric atmospheres and amazing games held on the same grass and dirt. But tonight, it will be the boys in blue winning out over the big red tonight. The visiting Souderton Indians will fall to 6-1, while the Indians will give away their first loss and will allow the Knights to propel to 6-1, both teams with the same record. And the Knights making it a note that they are the better team on their home turf. Following tonight's Week 7 victory for the Knights, North Penn will hit the road for a showdown with the Bucks of Central Bucks West, while the Souderton Indians fall to 6-1 and head up to Council Rock North to battle it out with the Golden Hawks in Week 8 matchups. Following tonight's matchup, make sure to check out Prasham Jobin-Putra's recap of the game on the Crier site to read up on the recap of the game and all the scoring in the busy homecoming events and home crowd matchup. Thanks for tuning into this edition of high school football on North Penn Television. And as for our crew tonight, our great camera crew working very busy in this chilly weather. Alongside me calling the action, Prasham Jobin-Putra, I'm Eric Jessberger, and for one last time from Crawford Stadium, it's the Knights wrapping up their 6A PIAA matchup and conference foe matchup with the Souderton Indians. The Knights victorious, 47-21 is your final score. Thanks for watching North Penn Television. Have a good night, everybody.